And what we're going to do is as we usually do at these classes, well, we do a bit of meditation. I'll give a bit of guidance. And then at the end, actually, it was very good last week. We had quite a bit of discussion going. So any questions, anything people want to discuss, let's keep it going to the end. Although I have to say, the chats, the option of a chat is always there. So if, during any time this evening, you want to ping something through to me in the by chat, please feel free to do so. And then at the end, I'm going to ask Wandu, who's looking after us this evening, to unmute everybody so we can, have a real live conversation if that's what people want. So I never know how. I mean, I recognize. I'm just looking through who's here, and yeah, there are quite a few names I recognize, and a few I don't. So let me assume there may even be a few newcomers here. And in any case, even if we've been meditating for decades, it's always great to start a sort of period of meditation with a completely open mind. It's like, the attitude, even if we're kind of an old hand, an experienced yogi, it's like an attitude of like gentle curiosity, because nobody, including me, nobody can be quite sure, what's going to happen in the next whatever hour and a half that we're together. The usual format, as I say, was I'll give a bit of guidance for the first 20 minutes or so. Then we might take a little break and then sit again and then have a discussion, but who knows? So gentle curiosity, I think, is really very good. What's this all about? What's this all about? This sort of attitude. Let's try it and see. Yeah. So that's a very good attitude. No great goals or ambitions, please. It's not going to help. And maybe as a result of having, meditated for quite a while, we appreciate its benefits. But then don't get trapped into thinking it's going to be, big and beautiful tonight. It may be, it may not be, we don't know. And if we've, not done anything before, but we've heard all about the benefits of mindfulness, just park all these sort of aspirations. And what's it all about? Let's go and have a look and see. And that's very much the Buddha's attitude to his teachings, actually. Don't believe it because you read about it in a book or because somebody's told you about it. Just try it and see. It's very much the Buddha's attitude. I think that's a great, this gentle curiosity, not one of a kind of critical sort of attitude. Let's try it and see what's wrong with it sort of thing. We just try it and see. It's curiosity. So that's very helpful. And I reckon I haven't been able to see how everybody's sitting here. It doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned, because just adopt a posture that supports this practice. And there again, if you've been to this class quite a bit and heard me too often, for me, mindfulness practice is all about the ability to notice, to know what's going on, to notice, but also to be able to let go of it, to relax. And I'm not one of these people who says you should have, hard and fast posture. This is the way you should do it. You should put your hands in a particular way and all this sort of stuff, which may or may not be helpful. I'm not knocking this at all. But I'm saying the important thing is to be alert and relaxed, because the alertness supports the knowing bit. Buddhism is a knowing religion. It's all about knowing. Now the faith bit comes later when you know what's going on, you have some confidence in it. But it's like knowing, noticing And that requires an alert posture. But then the big no-no in Buddhism is attachment. So the ability to let go, to then the physical analog of like letting go is relax, relax. I'll never forget Ajahn Brahmawamsa, a teacher you may have heard of, very charismatic teacher, and he gave a talk at the Buddhist Society at this class, maybe I've forgotten, and the title was "Relax to the Max," relax to the max, and that's a very different attitude to, sort of I've got to master this meditation attitude, because mastering it often means just letting go. If you look at the Buddha's teachings, it's all about letting go rather than getting. If you're into the precepts, it's about avoiding doing certain things. If you know what progress on the path is all about, it's about letting go of certain fetters. It's about letting go rather than attaining. Attainment is the attainment of just letting go of things. Which is quite tricky to get your head around. But anyway, an alert, relaxed posture is very helpful. And I think very much on this theme of alert and relaxed posture, bringing attention to the body is really very helpful. So I'm just wriggling around here to get the posture which is both alert and relaxed. So fidget around a bit if you need to. We're not going to sit for any homunculously long length of time, but a good enough posture. I've no idea what the perfect posture is for me, let alone for you. An alert, relaxed posture. And just bring attention into the body. How's the body feeling? And I don't mean sort of, great, half dead, knackered, or all of that stuff. I mean, that's there. But more like the little bits and pieces, little sensations in the body, simple sensations in the body, rather than opinions. And, everybody's sitting on something. You just notice the feeling of sitting. The weight of the body. They talk about the earth element, the heaviness of the body. Sitting here. Just notice the feeling of sitting. Feeling in the feet and the legs. And how are the hips tonight? Okay, but problematic? Just notice. Without going into some, story. About how it'd be better if I had a different body, because we brought along the perfect body for practice tonight. Absolutely perfect body. We've got all we need to work with here. How does it feel? Sensations in the hands. Maybe we've just parked the hands somewhere out of the way. When you put them out of the way, you see, it's quite interesting to pick up these impulses to move them. You want to fidget. Just notice that. A lot of this practice is learning how we're on autopilot most of the time. And, it's not a great fault to sort of want to fidget, but just notice that. Do we have to do it? No. This is a very subtle practice. It's about actually coming off autopilot, really. Instead of being driven by all the automatic stuff, I decide, making a cooler decision. That's interesting. You don't have to fidget. So we've parked the hands, and then we're very much aware of the impulse to move the hands. You have to do that. And you notice the pressure of in the abdomen, the waistband. Belly, the breath in the belly. Just notice that. Sensations in the back. Maybe we're sort of sitting on a chair or something. Just notice the pressure there of the back touching the back of the chair. Now, it's probably quite a good idea to sit forward, actually, because to be alert, it doesn't help if we go to sleep. It really doesn't. So. But anyway, notice what's going on the back, the shoulders, any tension there. Just notice that. Across the shoulders at the back, across the shoulders at the front of the body, collarbone area. Nice and easy, or a bit hunched up tonight. Just notice that. As we breathe in and breathe out, feel the breath in the body. Feel the touch of our clothing on our arms, on the trunk of the body. If there's any feeling of tiredness, just be aware of that. No, we know where we're coming from. It's quite handy to practice even when we're feeling a bit tired. You can do that all right. If we brought along a lively, comfortable body, that's great. If we brought along a body that's a bit complaining and a bit down, that's all right. You can work with that. It's all about knowing the story, as it were, or knowing how we feel. This is a knowing practice. It's like this. This is the way the body is right now. In that sense, it's perfect to practice with. And the same is true of the mind. How's the mood today? How's the mind right now? Are we happy, or a bit down, or nothing special, or whatever? Angry? Bit of anger there? Or as happy as Larry? Just be aware of that. See, this is a practice of just noticing. Well, that's it. It's like this. This mindfulness practice, it's all about how are things right now? Not really, I'd like things to be different, although that's another thought. We can notice that. The desire to be something different, to become something, to be reborn as something. Just notice that desire. Notice and let go. And during a bit of meditation, the mind could be quite busy. There again, if we read the books, it's all about the mind becoming very quiet. How do you quieten the mind? You let go of stuff. You don't go chasing a quiet mind. What we do is we notice what's going on in the mind and let go. Relax, let go. It's like physically, it's like, you grasp onto something. You want something, physically, you grab hold of it. Mentally, you grab hold of stuff in the mind, don't we? Memories, plans, emotions. We grab hold of it. Let go. How do we let go? That's a good question. Make a big fuss about noticing and letting go. Easy to notice, actually. If a big bad thought comes into the mind, you can't miss it, can we? How do we let go of it? This is where a meditation object is darn. It's very useful to have a meditation object. And there are many. And the Buddha recommends the mindfulness of breathing, using the breath as a meditation object. But there are loads of others. Sensations in the body are another, way of, so something's going on in the mind, bring the attention to how the body feels. So you can sweep the body. That's another meditation object. Or a mantra. May I be well. May others be well. Om Mani Padme Hum. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Peace, peace. These are all little anchors, little reference points to attend to direct the attention to when the mind wanders. But the breath is kind of a favorite. The ordinary breath, not particularly. I'm saying not deep breathing. Sometimes we want to deep breathe, we want a deeper breath. And we notice that sometimes the breath will get very shallow, quiet. We notice that. So there's no attempt to control the breath. The body knows how to breathe. We don't have to do anything except be aware of it and to use it as an anchor. We don't cling to the breath. It's not like, come hell or high water, for the next 15 minutes, I should do nothing but follow that breath. It's more like, the default position is when I've let go, of the thinking. And let the attention go back to the breath. This is a practice of attending to the attention. If you like, the image of the monkey mind. You know, the monkey mind that wanders all over the place. It chases after, the monkey. Well, it sees some fruit in a tree. It goes up the tree, has some fruit, grasps the fruit, enjoys the fruit, sees some more fruit, goes after it, swings across to another tree, sees a tiger coming, runs away, gets frightened, etc., etc. And the monkey mind is just our attention, really. But the sneaky thing about meditation practice is we are aware of it. We attend to the attention. So when the attention wanders, we notice that. It's not a fault. It is definitely not a fault. It's part of our nature. It's automatic. But we can let go of that. Once we notice what's going on, we let go and bring the attention back to whatever meditation object we use. I'm not saying we should use the breath, but there are people here who, use the sound of silence or a mantra or whatever. But if we're using the breath, be aware of the in-breath, the out-breath. Just the physical sensation of breathing. It's not exciting. In fact, it's quite tranquilizing. It's peaceful. If peace of mind sounds a good idea, why not let the attention rest on a peaceful object? Breathing in and breathing out. In breath, out breath. Mind wanders, notice that. There we go again. Bring the attention back to the breath. We're in charge, actually. We don't have to think all the time. Thinking is it's quite exciting, it's quite interesting, it's stimulating, it's, even thinking angry thoughts. Wow. We don't have to do that. The trick is to learn to let go and point the attention back to the in-breath, the out-breath. And of course, when we have practiced for a bit, the mind can go quite quiet. But you got to do this for a while. And because the breath is so tranquil, non-stimulating, the attention wants to wander to anything, actually. So it's quite a difficult practice. It's a very, very simple practice. Really quite a beautiful practice. Peaceful in-breath, peaceful out-breath. But it's not stimulating. And the monkey likes to be stimulated. So it just bugs off somewhere. And we notice that. There we go again. You notice that it's thinking, and you let go and back to the breath. And it's not, we shouldn't think. The trick is perhaps not to let the mind wander too far. We all know how easy it is for one thought to lead to another thought. You excavate the past, recreate the future. And that can be quite entertaining, or disturbing. We just notice that, the mind, we go again, thinking, noticing, planning. Call it something. What are we doing? Fantasizing, remembering, worrying. Notice it, label it, let go of it, back to the breath. How's the breath? become a bit of an expert on how's the breath this evening. The ordinary breath. Is it long? Is it short? Is it deep? Is it shallow? The breath is like an anchor. The anchor of a boat doesn't stop it from moving, it just stops it from moving too far. That's the role of our meditation object. It's a little reference point, a refuge, a little anchor to which, when we let go of all the thinking, emotional stuff, we can let the attention fall back on breathing in and breathing out. Now, if the body is a little bit uncomfortable, just be aware of that. Please don't try and do something heroic like go through the pain barrier. Really gently notice discomfort, pain, and notice two things about a physical pain, physical discomfort. There's that bit, a physical bit, but then there's also the not wanting it as well, around about it. Notice that. And then it's quite okay to adjust the posture. You don't have to sit here and suffer. You could stand up. Just adjust the posture. But notice what's going on. Can we follow a full in-breath or a full out-breath? All the way through from the beginning of an in-breath. Where do we notice it? On the nostrils, in the abdomen. Begins. There's a middle to it. It ends. And with an out-breath, can you pick up that change of direction from the in-breath to the out-breath? Out-breath continues till it ends. Change of direction. And that's not a sort of a forced practice, a grasping practice. It's a practice that comes about from letting go, relaxing, and letting the attention just rest on that pleasant sensation of breathing in and breathing out. and thoughts and feelings. That's to say, physical feelings, emotional things come and go. That's the point. They come and they go, don't they? Our job is just to be a witness of that. This is like nature study. And what we're doing, we're sitting here very quietly, quite alert, studying the mind, noticing the nature of the mind, and the contents of the mind. So we're kind of taking a position of being the mind, aware of its contents. Feel free to stretch or move around a bit if you need to. So as it's sort of halfway through period of sitting, good idea to say just a little bit about effort in our meditation practice. Actually, everybody's made enough effort just getting here, as it were. Many other things we could have done, but here we are. Well done. That's the right amount of effort. Just doing it. It's good enough. Actually, while we're meditating, there again, the body is a very good guide to the effort we're putting into this practice, because pretty clearly, I mean, here we are, well, I don't know where you are, but it's just gone 7 p.m. UK time, end of the day. You know, it's easy to get a bit droopy, nod off. And so if we find that the slumping or anything like that, that's a sure sign that we might want to perk up a bit, to put a bit more effort into just holding the posture up. That's all. It's not a fault at this time of day to feel tired at all, but just notice that. Okay, that's fatigue, that's tiredness. We can still practice. Just put a bit more oomph into the posture, that's all. And of course, on the other side of things, you know, if we're trying too hard, just be aware of that too. We all know what it's like to try to do something. The effort involved, the physical side of it. And that might mean in meditation practice, you know, really trying to concentrate. Gosh, I'm trying to concentrate. My goodness, I've got to crack this. I've got to be an expert meditator by 7:30. I just noticed that. You get a lot of tension in the body. Relax. Just the opposite. Take your foot off the pedal a bit. Ease back. So just the body is a good guide to whether we're putting enough or not enough effort into this practice. It's quite interesting that Ajahn Chah, I expect a lot of you have heard about Ajahn Chah, a Thai meditation master who died quite a while ago. He would talk about meditation as being a holiday of the heart, a holiday of the heart. And that's really interesting, you know, for gung-ho meditators. If somebody talks about a holiday, talking about your summer holiday, here we are in spring, you know, looking forward to a summer holiday. What's a summer holiday like? What's a holiday like? Well, I suspect it involves enjoyment, ease, relaxation. Okay, probably, unless we're into this sort of thing, not, you know, the sort of ascent of a vertical mountain, but depends on who we are, I suppose. But essentially, enjoyment, ease, relaxation, and of the heart. That's interesting, isn't it? So, I mean, just bear that in mind when we talk about effort. And it's not really about the sort of wrong effort. Wrong effort is just, you know, striving to get something, to get somewhere. It's sort of like an Olympic sport. You know, you sort of expect to get a gold medal for being an expert meditator. It's that sort of thing. That's not it at all. It's all about letting go rather than getting. And you notice that ambition to be an expert meditator. I've got to be an expert meditator. Really? That's very stressful, isn't it? Not at all stressful to let go of that sort of got to get meditation. It's just getting the balance right. I'll sit meditation and just see what happens. That's the right attitude. That's the right attitude. Just do it. Sit down, see what happens. It's like, I mean, to me, it's like going to a movie. You go to a movie and all the effort is getting there. You get the ticket, you get a seat, You watch it on the TV at home or whatever. And after that, you just sit there and watch it. And essentially, it's an easy and easeful thing to do. And that's the idea of meditation. Just sit down and see what happens. Just do it. The effort to do it. Just set the conditions up. It's all about conditions, isn't it? The right amount of effort. Is you got to put some effort in. You got to get to the cinema. You got to tune into the Buddhist Society or make a space in our lives at whatever time we like to meditate. It's quite a lot of effort to do that. And then just sit down, see what happens. And maybe even enjoy a holiday of the heart. So that's all about effort. And I think that's very useful to sort of bear that in mind. So let's do a bit more meditation in this sort of rather effortless way. Just sit back in your meditation posture. A good enough posture. There again, no such thing as a perfect posture. I don't think. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for good enough. You know, this sort of expression, don't let the best be the enemy of the good. It's a good thing to remember. It's good enough. Okay, we've got an alert, relaxed posture. So sit back and see what happens. And to help, pick up a meditation object as a little focus, a little anchor to help develop this quality of a holiday for the heart. Breathing in, breathing out. Thich Nhat Hanh, who died a few months back, he had these nice little verses that he'd use. So he encouraged things like breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Calming the body, smiling. A holiday for the heart. Just sit back and see what happens. It's that sort of attitude. The mind will wander. That's interesting, isn't it? That's interesting. The autopilot says, keep following that thought. Well, we don't have to. We could let go. And that's the difficult bit. It's the letting go, not the getting. Let go. Point the attention back to the mantra, the sound of silence, the in-breath and the out-breath. And during a period of meditation, of course, all sorts of thoughts and emotions and memories, expectations and fears will come into the mind, of course. That's because we're human beings. We notice that. We notice. And the autopilot says, hey, let's grab hold of all of this stuff. It's all part of me. The memory is my memory. It's all what happened to me, as it were. And the future is my plans. Me and my... This is all sort of mental rebirth, isn't it? And it's rather exciting and easy to buy into, get trapped by. That's the way it is right now, but we can let go of it. Notice, let go. All this activity of the mind, there's an alternative if we want to. Letting go, back to the breath. Not suppression. Not a question of suppressing any of this at all. But if we just get out of the way, it'll subside. Everything changes. Thoughts change, emotions change. Maybe they'll come back again. It's not the point. It's to notice this continual kind of flux from a cooler position. Notice the movement of the mind, let go, point the attention back to the breath. Breathing in and out. And in and out. Just following the breath from the beginning of an in-breath through to its end, and an out-breath begins, then it ends. Not controlling it, it's long, it's short, it's quick, it's slow, it's deep, it's shallow. It's just there, it's just breathing. Breathing in and out. That's a good place for the attention to rest on. Not cling to, just revert to. Wake up in the night, it's on our mind. Can we let go? Point the attention back to the breath. Very handy skill. It's very, different from the normal automatic way we respond to stuff. Wake up in the night, something's on the mind, I've got to figure it out. I can't figure it out. I must do, got to get rid of it, sort it all out. And there's a time and place for that, I'm sure. Or can we just point the attention to the breath? Breathing in and out. And maybe we're gradually kind of learning something which from a Buddhist point of view is quite important, which is there's the mind, that knowing quality that we all share, and there's the contents of the mind, which for everybody here is different. All the stuff pinging into consciousness. And then there's consciousness itself, there's awareness itself. It's the mind, open, expansive, peaceful. There's all the contents as well. Where do we want to be? So, Wangju, if we could unmute everybody, so if anybody wants to ask a question, please feel free to do so or send through a chat. Well, we're talking about this, thinking about this. Last week, actually, somebody made a good point, which is, so where does kind of cultivating the heart, the sort of emotional side of life, come into this practice? And that's a good question, because just sort of mindfulness seems very neutral, I suppose, and can even be misunderstood, I think. My main teacher, Ajahn Subhaddo, he talks about the way it is. He wrote a book which is entitled "The Way It Is," and I like his little line. It's like this. It's like this. And what he means by, what I mean by it's like this, when you're talking about meditation practice, is, well, this is the way it is right now. Whatever it presents itself in the mind, never mind why, never mind all these issues like should, would, could have been different, and all of that. It's the way it is kind of right now. What's in the mind right now, and just observing that. Just noticing that, where it is right now. And that's mindfulness. You just notice it and let go, maybe. Oh yeah, there it is right now. And it's not it's not a sort of a cold-hearted kind of, it's like this. This is the way it is. Put up with it. It's not like that. This is the way it is. Just shut up and get on with it. Put up with it. And it's not about an automatic, sort of an autopilot reaction to what's going on in the mind right now. It's not like that. So it's not, you got to put up with it. It's just, okay, the conditions were whatever they were for this thought, this experience to come into the mind right now. It's like this. And maybe if we look at it, it comes, it goes, it changes, and something else comes into the mind. We just notice the way it is. We note it. We know it, what it's like right now in the present moment. And then, and it says nothing at all about, in a sense, what comes next. Things were as they were, in such a way that what I'm experiencing right now in the mind, that's the way it is. That's the way it is right now. And what happens next is something else, isn't it? How do we react to it? See, already we've come off autopilot responses. It's not an automatic reaction. And there's no suggestion. You just put up with it. Well, it's like this right now, and then what? So whatever we decide to do comes from a slightly cooler place than perhaps an autopilot sort of reaction. Maybe it comes from a place of compassion. So it kind of, there again, this is all about the mind knowing the contents of the mind. It's like this, it's like this. And then the question is, well, what about the whole heart side of this practice? So it's like, no, this is the way things are right now. And then what? And then what? Well, then we can perhaps, come from a slightly different place as we might otherwise do. For example, we talking about right effort a little bit earlier on, and I was just talking about the effort we bring to a period of practice. It's not the sort of goal-orientated, driven, got to get it nailed down sort of effort at all. But right effort in the sort of the Eightfold path are indeed all about cultivating the heart, because some mind states are more useful, more helpful on this path, make meditation easier or more difficult than others. So there are mind states which, like desire or anger or negativity or dullness or restlessness, which are not very helpful. And so the practice is to sort of avoid and overcome them. And then their opposites, kindness, compassion, all of that, develop and maintain. They got these four right efforts in classical teaching. The effort to avoid and overcome negative mind states and to develop and maintain, positive ones. And in particular, kindness and compassion. So this is where the heart practice comes in. So it's important to think that there's more to Buddhist meditation practice than just mindfulness. It sounds almost heretical to say so, because absolutely the entire world is practicing mindfulness. You can go into the bookshop or the newsstand and you can get mindful, I don't know, plumbing for all I know. But I saw a van the other day. I was in the car park and I saw a van parked a little way from me, which is sort of a mindful cleaning company. Well, okay, all right. And mindfulness is an extremely useful skill. It has, and forget the spiritual aspect of mindfulness practice in a Buddhist context. It's a splendid therapeutic practice. It really is. There's mindfulness, but then also there's right effort as part of Buddhist meditation as well, which is cultivating qualities like kindness and compassion. And these are meditation practices. These are meditation practices which one needs to work on to develop kindness, for example, to oneself and to others. So I just want to throw that out for your consideration, that this, mindfulness, that's the way it is. It's like this. That's right. You just notice it. That's the way things are. In this present moment, it's like this. This is what's in the mind right now. Okay. And then what? And then there's the question of deploying, right effort, compassion, concern, all of that. So anyway, I just want to put that out there. Are there any questions or topics for discussion, please? Either send them through by chat, or I hope we're all unmuted. Hang on, I'm going to go to my gallery view. Because there's quite a few people here, I can't see anybody putting their hands up, but just...
Hi, Colin.
Oh, hi, Jeff. Yes, I see you and I hear you.
Hi there. Hi from Western Canada. I got a question for you.
Yep.
Just like, I'm sure like a lot of people, during this pandemic, I got hit kind of hard with deaths in my family. I had 4 of them. Unrelated to COVID, I had my mother and my sister, both from cancer, a cousin from a heart attack, and another cousin from cancer. They live my hometown. They all lived in my hometown about 4 hours away. I've sort of developed now, I want to go and visit other family, but it's almost like I'm holding myself back. I get anxiety built up and my brain starts going and I go, oh, I'm what's happening, I guess I can say, is I'm associating my hometown now with sorrow, with a bit of depression. I'm not really sure how to combat that. I'm good when I'm home and I think about it and I think of the here and the now. And you did answer a little bit by saying compassion for oneself and everything, but I still can't, my brain will go into that monkey brain mode and it kind of keeps me from going back to visit people that are in the here and the now.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure how to kind of make that next bridge or that next step.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm very sorry to hear. I mean, yeah, it's been a pretty tough couple of years for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's you know, the older you get, the more people, who just die for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah.
We put COVID on top of it, and it's tough. And you've had a particularly tough time, and you're right. I mean, there's a lot of confusion in the mind as to how you should, you know, how one wants to do things, and one doesn't know. So you start with where you're at, and where you're at is, for goodness sake, I mean, you've got all these thoughts of kindness and goodwill, wanting to go there and all the rest of it, and that's good. So the first thing is just to bring to mind all these good qualities, Jeff, of yourself, right? And it's very easy to say, "Oh, I'm totally confused. I'm never going to get it sorted." What are they thinking? For good, if they're thinking anything at all, you know, am I really a rat for not doing this? Shouldn't I bite the bullet and get in the car? And
Right.
oh, wow, it's a crazy world, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do in that situation is, I mean, with this meditation practice, you've got a whole lot going there in terms of, first of all, you know, this basic ability to know what's going on in the mind, but to be able to sort of, it's just this tape playing again. It's that sort of attitude. If you
Right.
can learn to let go of it. But the other thing is, to cash in on all your good qualities and to send yourself thoughts of goodwill and kindness. May I be well. May I be happy. Right. And then obviously you want all these folks that have survived, for example, you want them to be well and happy and free from all suffering and all the confusion that you're experiencing as well. So you really want to wish that and make that part of your practice. Make that part of your practice. I mean, I find that, or I have found that I mean, having done a lot of this metta practice, which is essentially, if you like, I'm just sitting here thinking, may I be well, may she be well, or it's like, or even quite, if you like, weird situations like, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from all suffering, may my father, who died 20 years ago, may he be, I've no idea what's happened to him, but whatever it is, may he be well, may he be free from all suffering, And so all these folks much closer than 20 years ago have passed on. I don't know, but may they be the very best, that's for the very best for them. And I find that this has a magical effect on me, this sort of practice. I can then perhaps, send that crucial letter that I've been sitting on saying, wow, it's been a hard time for all of us, and you're struggling to get over it, and I am too. It's that sort of thing. And, and then maybe get in the car. It's that sort of, but you've got to, there's this sort of barrier you've got to get over oneself. And you're coming from a good place. It's as simple as that. It's not that I don't care about these people. You care desperately about these people, and you wish the very best for them, and you wish the very best for yourself as well. So there you go. Easy, isn't it?
No, you know what, Colin? That makes what you said is it. No pun intended, but it puts me on the right path. I've started the Buddhist correspondence course, and I'm in with the Eightfold path, and so I kind of everything you just said, I'm sort of doing. So it's working. I'm just got to keep at it. That's all. But yeah, everything you said hits home perfectly.
Where actually, just out of curiosity, whereabouts do you live?
I live in the province of Alberta in Western Canada.
Okay. Anywhere near Edmonton?
Yes, I'm 3 hours northwest.
Long way. Okay.
Or northeast. I'm sorry, northeast. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But thank you for that. That's that you just kind of confirmed that I'm sort of on the right, how can I put it, trajectory in my studies and my learning. So thank you.
It sounds good. Keep up the good work. Anybody else got any questions, comments in particular? Would be very helpful. I mean, anything at all on Buddhism or whatever. How to negotiate life in really quite crazy times. It really is quite difficult. It's quite difficult at the moment. As I was saying last week, it's like there's no, seems to be no end, you know. So we just kind of beginning in this country at any rate, beginning to amber out of COVID, but, and then of course you've got all these, you know, horrors coming from Ukraine as well, and then, you know, there's the little matter of the environment. Wow, you know, wow. So how do we handle all of that? Interesting. And a lot of it is about you know, calming the heart, but also developing all these positive heart qualities as well, which are necessary. So if you're just thinking about the environment, for example, it's all about quite a subtle sort of practice, I was going to say. It's all about developing compassion, you know, for future generations, isn't it? Really, it's that sort of, from a, you know, it's not so much a question of getting stuck on rights and all of that. It's more like, you know, there are suffering beings out there, and I wish them well. It's that kind of attitude, which I personally find, you know, most convincing. Any other comments, or somebody's okay? So, right. Well, somebody's sent me a message, and it's upset by all this awful news. Wow, yes. Should I let go of it? Well, it's not a question of should. Heavens, there's no heavens. Should I let go of all of that? It's you have a choice. It's interesting. It's there again. To me, it's more a question of noticing what's going on in the mind, which is confusion, which is terrible sadness, right? As you say, it's awful news. It's absolutely awful news. And then, and what to do about it is enormously confusing. So the question is, what can one do about it? And, you know, perhaps there is something one can do to help. Perhaps there is something one can do to help. And it depends on one's circumstances. And, you know, if one can do anything at all to help, one should congratulate oneself on it. So it's not like one should let go of it, but maybe it will, you know, maybe it will dissipate. You know, maybe it will go away, or not. I don't know. But the one thing that worries me about the question is, should one let go of it? One can practice, you see. If it's causing one a lot of mental distress, I mean, you'd have to be, you know, not a human being, not to be concerned, not to be distressed, not to be shocked. You'd have to be, you know, human being. We're all human beings here, so it's not a question of should or should not. But if it's something that is seriously disturbing us, right, then perhaps this practice of meditation will help. And there are two aspects of it, aren't there? Learning to be aware of all this stuff that's coming into the mind, right? And learning to direct the attention to, now we're doing formal meditation now, towards the meditation object, the breath, or the mantra, or combining, you know, the heart practice with it. So a very good mantra is, may I be well, may others be well. And in these circumstances of your words, these all the awful news, right? Then surely it's quite an authentic. So, you know, it gets into the mind. It's really whirring around in there, all this awfulness, and it's like, okay, and what one's, you know, heartfelt response to that? May I be well, may they be well. May I be well, may they be well. And that's enough. But equally, I mean, there may well be things that one can do as well to concretely help. But I would, you know, as I say, forget the should. You know, we're all humans together. So the question is, yeah, there's this kind of confusion in the mind. It's horrible. It's undeniably horrible. What do we want? I'd like to end it. May they be well. May they be at peace. May they be happy. May they be free from all suffering. If you want to call it prayer, I don't mind that. You know, but include yourself in that as well. Good people, you know, we're talking about, if you were not a good person, you would not have these thoughts. It's as simple as that. If you were not a good person, you would not have these thoughts. So good people, you know, may they be well. May we be well. May we be happy. That's all I can really suggest in these difficult circumstances. It's a very difficult situation. Anybody else want to make a contribution to this? It's not that I've got all the answers. far from it. Or any other questions at all about Buddhism? I've no idea, you know, who maybe people are completely new to the Dharma. While anybody's having any sort of last thoughts, I'm sort of whizzing around the screen here. Next week the class will be taught by led by Richard Bober, and don't forget that if you like these sort of online classes, the Buddhist Society offers lunchtime. There are 3 lunchtime sessions like this, or at least 2 lunchtime ones on a Friday, that's tomorrow, and then Monday as well. And then there's also one on Sunday morning, right? And they're open, they're free to all, and they're led by different people. And the main difference between those classes and this one is that I think they're more like 40 minutes. You know, I think the idea was originally, back in the day, you know, when you could meet, people would just pop in at lunchtime to the Buddhist Society. Maybe it was like that. So there are these other classes as well, which you know, you might want to explore. Any other questions at all? If not, thank you very much for coming this evening. Please stay safe, and please look after yourselves. And when we look after ourselves, we're sort of looking after other people as well. You know, it's very hard. It's very hard to do all the right things for other people. You know, if we're in a lot of distress ourselves, it really is. So can I kind of keep on working on what we've been doing this evening? How about that? Stay safe, take care.